Thank you for not making me dance. I was a little scared when you came up here that you guys definitely don't want to see that. It's great to be here. This has been a great conference, and so thank you, Roman and everybody. It's been intriguing and inspirational, which is great for a conference. So today what I want to do is tell you a little bit about the journey that Chrysler's been on and what we're doing and how we're going forward. And also, very importantly, because this is marketing to millennials, what are we doing that we think is going to appeal to every generation, but very specifically to the younger generations that are really going to be changing the world going forward? And yeah, I'm going to start with an Apple slide. I can legitimately because I was there and I helped transform it. And this is an important slide because it's fighting, and that's a good fighting spirit. But also, the key word on there is think different. And I'm not going to talk about Apple of like, I want to be the Apple of the car industry. I mean, of course I do, or the Apple of whatever industry. That's the business cliche. What's interesting about Apple is what it used to transform itself. And there was a notion that was tied to this campaign called the Crazy Ones. And I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it was basically the finishing line on that ad campaign was, the crazy ones who think they can change the world are the ones who do. And that's why Chrysler's interesting. We actually had a crazy one. This is Walter P. Chrysler. He's our founder. And he had been in the auto industry for a number of years, and he thought he could do it better. He thought he could build a better car company. And so he set out, and he did it. And he focused on engineering excellence. He focused on styling. He started to transform the industry back in the day. Wow, I'm sounding a little funny here. But wow, how has that industry changed since Walter P. Chrysler? And why would I, because I spent a lot of my career in tech, go back?
There's one thing I hate. All the noise.
That's the car industry. Junk, noise, loud, and it's this, a sea of white cars, beige cars, silver cars. I mean, come on. Is it any surprise that among millennials, the number of people 18 years old getting their driver's license has dropped 15% in the last 25 years? I don't know about you, but when I could get my license, I was off in my mother's Oldsmobile before you could even count to 3. Today, it's like, who cares? So is there any reason, any wonder that this is happening? And this is a massive problem for the entire industry, not just Chrysler. Back in the day, we could solve that with, well, product. We'll throw out a muscle car. Muscle cars are cool. It's exciting. The problem is today, you're competing with all these other things in a person's life. And how are they spending their time and how are they spending their money? And to be blunt, in the car business, we think in terms of monthly payments. How much is it going to cost the average consumer a month to get them into one of our vehicles? What's competing for the monthly payment? How much do they want the Challenger versus all of this other stuff? And then importantly, the bills, the wireless charges, et cetera, to run all this other stuff. And so that's what we're competing with. Yeah, we're competing with Toyota, but we're competing with this. And this is where we've got to win. So you layer on top of that, like the car business, oh my God, ruin, disgrace, bankruptcy, caught in the old school dinosaur era of dying big business. Why would you want to do that? Well, that's where we're different. Chrysler is different. We're like a cat. We've been through 8 of our 9 lives, but because we've been through that experience, we don't ever want to go back. And that's the kind of transformative spirit that you need inside of a company to really start to do great things. This is our roster of brands, as Roman mentioned. And so a lot of times people just think of us like, well, you're Chrysler, you're Dodge, or maybe I know about Jeep. Well, we're Ferrari. We're Alfa Romeo. And yes, Alfa Romeo is coming back to the United States next year, so look for it. BMW, watch out. Maserati, we have industrial brands. So we have a global portfolio of brands now. So we're very well armed to move forward. And the emphasis is on the word brand. And here is a shot of our leader. This is Sergio Marchionne. He's the head of Fiat Chrysler. He runs the industrial group. He runs the whole thing. He has turned around multiple companies. He's turned us around at Chrysler. He's turned around Fiat. He is a true visionary. He's also a very focused, humble, down-to-earth guy. And I like this shot of him because he's in the factory. He's talking with workers. He's sharing values, what's driving the company, what he's going to measure them on. And that starts to build our value set, who we are as a company and what we stand for. And we think that's so important because at the end of the day, consumers are buying values. It's more than just a product. A lot of people can make products. We have to show our value set, and how our value set is embodied in our brands. Who are we? What do we think? And therefore, why should you trust us? Why should you believe us? A car is a very expensive purchase. You got to trust us, and you got to believe us. So we've got the spirit inside the company. We're on our 9th life. We're ready to go. We've looked into the abyss. We don't want to go back. But how do we tell that story? Because remember, we're Chrysler. Everyone's like, Chrysler, Chrysler. How do you choose that? Detroit? You got to be kidding. So Detroit, is it a symbol of ruin and a symbol of despair? Or is it a symbol of hope? And is it a symbol of rebirth? And the thing that I think a lot of people don't think about and realize, Detroit used to be Silicon Valley back in Walter P. Chrysler's day. This was where America led in terms of innovation. It led in terms of coming up with machines and devices and ideas that changed the world. It was in Detroit. And then look what happened. And that's a lesson to all of us. Don't get too insular. Don't let your business model get upside down. We were literally selling cars for less than what it cost us to build them. I wonder why we went bankrupt. And so one of Sergio's principles is like, we're going to make money on every unit that we sell. Shocking business concept. But we want to take this and say, okay, how can Detroit fight back? How can we fight back? How can we get smart? We've gone down, we can come back. And that's important because we can start to capture it with a theme. And it's larger than just Detroit. It's this notion of doing the right thing, of fighting, of being humble and saying, you know what, you're never done and you've got to fight. And frankly, everyone in this room is imported from Detroit, no matter where you're from, because that's what we do in this industry. Stuff is changing constantly. You've got to align with your values, and you've got to go where stuff is going to go. And you've got to make sure that people believe it, they see your story, and they understand it. I hope most of you guys are familiar with what we did in the Super Bowl. And that was a very big platform for us. And I'd like to show the spot again, because it was very powerful, and it started to talk about who we are, where we are right now, and we're very humble about it. We are not done. We have a long way to go. But embedded in this video, you're going to then see some of the results that we got from this campaign.
It's halftime. Both teams are in their locker room discussing what they can do to win this game in the second half. It's halftime in America, too. People are out of work and they're hurting. And they're all wondering what they're going to do to make a comeback. And we're all scared because this isn't a game. The people of Detroit know a little something about this. They almost lost everything. But we all pulled together. Now Motor City is fighting again. I've seen a lot of tough eras, a lot of downturns in my life, and times when we didn't understand each other. It seems that we've lost our heart at times. The fog of division, discord, and blame made it hard to see what lies ahead. But after those trials, we all rallied around what was right and acted as one. Because that's what we do. We find a way through tough times, and if we can't find a way, then we'll make one. All that matters now is what's ahead. How do we come from behind? How do we come together? And how do we win? Detroit's showing us it can be done. And what's true about them is true about all of us. This country can't be knocked out with one punch. We get right back up again, and when we do, the world's gonna hear the roar of our engines. Yeah, it's halftime America, and our second half's about to begin.
We're very proud of that, obviously, and it was a statement of our values, and it resonated quite well. It was not political. I mean, I want to sell minivans. We're not trying to make a political statement. The fact that it got picked up like that meant that it resonated with people. And to be honest with you, our favorite was when it got spoofed on Saturday Night Live, not once, not twice, but 3 times, and they were all funny. So we loved that. And the Super Bowl, no question, is a great stage for us. But getting down to then the brass tacks of marketing, what do we do every day? So that's a great big stage and podium where we can express our values. But a big challenge for Chrysler is nobody believes us. Like, now I get your values, but I still think your products are crap. So how do I get in front of people and let them see that we have actually made improvements? We are now starting to lead in quality scores. I will put my Jeep Grand Cherokee up against anybody's car in this room in terms of the quality and how it's built. And we want people to see that, but I can't tell you that. You have to experience that. So we do a tremendous amount at auto shows, and I'd like to show you some of these results.
I like experiencing like independent suspension, and so it was kind of nice to see what it was capable of doing versus what my truck can't do, because my truck does not have that.
Test was fun. Yep. I think it rides really smooth. It was a nice ride and might be a viable option in the future.
Absolutely, I want to buy one right now.
Makes you kind of want it. You know, you get to, instead of experiencing the driving aspect, you get to experience how you're a passenger as well.
It made my day right there.
It's fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I'm ready to buy one. It's my first time being in the Jeep, so yeah, it's a good experience.
We look forward to this. This is the first thing we do whenever we come.
Well, they need to have more. I love it. It's like a roller coaster.
That was inside McCormick Place, but we do that kind of stuff all over, and we generated over 80,000 test drives. That's 80,000 names in our database, 80,000 people who got inside of our cars, 80,000 people who can start to turn into believers and say, yeah, I actually see what these guys are doing. I see how nice this car is. And where might they go? We have to transfer from the physical world into the virtual world. So we do a tremendous amount on Facebook. And we want people to tell their stories. We want to build communities. Jeep is a great example of that because you can take the brand values, you can translate them online, you can allow communities to build up around them, tell their stories and expand it. And of course, you can build your fan base. And we're very, very proud of that. And back to our philosophy of working through the company and making sure that everyone is sharing in the results, I'd like to show you a video that we put together to thank our Facebook fans. And I know for some of the people in this room, the numbers that we hit, we're over 2 million fans. To us, that's huge. I think for some people, it's not so much, but for a car company, it's huge. And we're actually at the highest of any domestic manufacturer, so we're very proud of that. And the people who are most psyched, and you begin to see the passion and energy that fills our company, are the people on the factory floor.
Listen, I want to thank you guys. I want to say we love you.
Hard to believe there's that many followers, and I think it's great, and I'd like to say thank you very much.
I would have been happy with 100 fans, but I can't believe 2 million fans. That is just unreal.
I just want to thank everybody out there, the 2 million Jeep fans on Facebook. We appreciate it. You couldn't have made it any better for us here at Jeep.
It's gratifying to know that there's so many people that support us out there.
It is a dream to work for you.
Thank you, Jeep fans! 2 million!
So again, we feel that that helps us build community and helps people understand who we are, everyone who is working for us, and then part of that filling into the community, and it builds authenticity. And we think that's hugely important. And so, again, this is where people are. It's how they're consuming their information. We want to be there. We want to get stories out to them, but we also want to hear back from them. And so another funny one that I'm going to show you, and this started as a very different concept and is an example of us listening. We developed for an earlier auto show, for the LA Auto Show, we developed a little video for a new Fiat model, our Abarth, which is the sports version. And it's targeted basically at guys, and we were presenting it to automotive journalists in Los Angeles, mostly guys. So we're like, what's a fun, cheap piece that we could do that would appeal to mostly guys? So we put it together, we ran it at the auto show, and just, hey, we're going to post it on YouTube, because that's what we do now every time we create a piece of content. We posted it on YouTube, and it caught fire. And it started taking off, and before we knew it, we had over 2 million YouTube views. And we're like, you know what? People are really liking this. And we started to look at the comments and the feedback, and they were loving it. So we have all this Super Bowl time. It's like, you know what? Why are we going to prepare some big, canned, amazing thing? We've got it sitting in the bank. People love it. They've told us they love it. Now let's take it and push it out even more broadly. And that was this.
Che cosa guardi, eh? Che cosa guardi? Mi stai spogliando con gli occhi? Poverino. Non puoi farne a meno. Ti batte il cuore. Ti gira la testa. Sei perso pensando che sarò tua per sempre. The Fiat 500 Abarth. You'll never forget the first time you see one.
So, he was a happy guy, and we were happy guys, because our web traffic surged over 700%, and people were in there configuring Abarths, and our sales trajectory has changed since that spot ran in a broad market. So again, it's taking feedback from people, applying it, pushing it out there, and we want people to interact with our brands and be part of them. And so another example of what we're doing socially, this is a really key car for us. This is our new Dart, and this is a social media program that we're doing at DeviantArt, which is actually the 16th largest social network focusing on creative people and artists and whatnot. And the idea is to get them to design around our car and show us what they think of it and interpret it and push it out to their networks. And so we've initiated this program, and we're already seeing some really cool results. And again, we're not controlling this. This is being done by other people, and it's their vision of the car. And they're giving it a fresh twist and a fun twist. They're going out, they're getting these assets. We're not giving them a canned set of assets to work with. They're building it themselves, and some of the results are really fun. My personal favorite is Darth Vader. And this is using components from our instrument panel to create Darth Vader's helmet. And this stuff starts to push virally through the web. And again, it's just a fresh interpretation of a very new car. And it's an important car for us. Here it is. And this is ground zero, our millennial car. We need to sell this car to a lot of millennials. And we're very focused on what they think is important with it. And so it needs to cover a lot of bases. It's going to have very high fuel efficiency. It's going to get over 40 miles to the gallon. It also is being endorsed by Travis Pastrana, and it has performance credentials. It is customizable, and we think that that's hugely important, back to that sea of beige cars. There are over 100,000 ways that you can configure your Dart. So again, saying to a new generation of people, you don't have to drive what everyone else drives. You can interpret your car, you can express yourself with your car, and that's part of the excitement. You don't have to wedge it into the machine that is the auto industry. It's your car. Make it about you. So that's a big part of the push. And the other big part of the push is then technology and technology integration. So not only can you customize the outside, but this is essentially a very large 8.5-inch touchscreen that's in the center of the instrument panel on a number of the models, which gives you access to all kinds of apps, your nav system, all of your controls. It syncs with your phone. You can get vehicle health reports off of your phone or your iPad away from the car. You can unlock the car with your iPhone if you ever lock your keys in it or something like that. And it's all built in. And so yes, we built it. It's our Uconnect system. It's winning awards for being the most user-friendly system on the market for telematics, so we're very proud of that. But here's an interesting rub. And being from the tech industry, a lot of people are saying to me, you guys are such dinosaurs in Detroit. You should just let somebody else build this. You've got an iPad in the dashboard. Why isn't it an Apple iPad? And you see, that's where we have to be different. We can't put an iPad in the dashboard. This has to work when it's 20 degrees below zero. It has to work when it's 120 degrees in the desert. If you crash into something, it cannot shatter and explode. We do a test at Chrysler where we take a bowling ball and we shoot it at 35 miles an hour into that center stack. And it has to crumple and collapse, but it cannot shatter and it cannot explode. I dare any of you to do that with your iPad. It's a completely different standard. And so there's a safety integration that is so important in the car, and the syncing between the device and your instrument cluster, it allows you to personalize it. It's integrated with the car. You can tailor it and customize it, and we have a piece of digital real estate now. And so a big part of our goal is how do you integrate it with the devices you already have in a way that makes sense for you, that goes into your car and further personalizes it, but it's optimized for your car. And that's a big push for us. And here's another example from another auto show. Nice crowd of people around our Chrysler 300. Why are they crowded around it? Look in the trunk. You see anything there in the trunk? Red, kind of interesting looking. It's Beats. We are the first auto manufacturer to incorporate Beats sound systems into our car. And I want to do a shout out to Steve Berman, who I don't see him, but I think he's here. There you are. Thank you, and the guys at Interscope and everything else for helping us do this deal. It has been fantastic for us. So Dr. Dre, Jimmy, everybody has gotten involved with Chrysler, and it's been so exciting because the buzz and the credibility that we're getting with this product, it's answering people's questions, and it's taking Chrysler, and we put it in a Chrysler. That's a 300. Imagine Chrysler. People used to think Ricardo Montalban when they thought Chrysler. Now they're thinking Dr. Dre. This is huge for us. And we want to continue to do it across all of our brands. When you think Jeep, you know, you think rugged, you think outdoors, you think of it in the context of nature. And that's all nice. But we have to think of it in other contexts as well. And again, the context where our customer is, but it has to be credible. It has to be real. It has to be something that a Jeep could actually do, which it does.
Coordinated attacks in Europe and America has...
Insurgents have had mandatory evacuation.
The national community has reviewed...
High-speed person occupying.
The 2012 Jeep Wrangler Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Edition. The toughest vehicle in the world. Any world.
And so that, again, has been a tremendously successful program for us. And among the young male audience that's out gaming, it's integrated into the game. And then PRR, I apologize, that was probably an acronym from the car business that a lot of people don't get. Those are production orders. We built and sold 3,500 Modern Warfare Edition Jeep Wranglers. And those are very nice, high-margin vehicles. So we like that a lot. But it's been a great integration. We've done physical events that have tied to that. We put it into auto shows. We've developed collateral materials. So we thread it through the brands and make sure that there is a touch point in every way. But a Jeep really can do that. And that's what's so important. So what has this done for us? What are our results? And I'm going to start boasting here a little bit, and I'm going to refute some of the conventional auto industry standards. So our sales in the first quarter of this year are up 33%. Everyone's like, yeah, but you're car guys, you're just dumping this in fleets. No, we're not. Our retail sales are up 40%. It's like, okay, all right, you got me on that one. But you're doing it at the expense of market share. Our market share is up 2 full percentage points in a year. And again, as Roman pointed out, we are the fastest growing car company in terms of gaining share. And that's a big part of our strategy. We do not think that the market's going to grow indefinitely. We've got to take share from somebody else. So we have to be smarter and quicker than everybody else. But our friends to the north, we think, have the right idea. We are now #1 in market share in Canada. We lead everybody. So again, we like the Canadians. But did we do all of this because we just, we didn't make any money? No, our profits are up over 50%. Well, you screwed your workers. That's how you got your great numbers. No, we didn't. Since the start of this year, we have hired 1,800 people in the United States to build the Dodge Dart. So they are building cars here, and we're still doing those numbers. Oh, I know what your secret is, government money. No, we paid that back with interest in full 6 years early. This is our money, this is our company, this is what we're doing. Like I said, we've been through 8 of our 9 lives. We aren't going to lose this last one. And that really is the summation of it. We want to make a difference. The car industry had turned into this lumbering dinosaur, and it was answering issues that concerned itself and not its customers. And you have to turn that on its head, and you have to move quickly. And it's really exciting to take an old line industry and understand what's in it, what passion points are in it, how do you pull those up and make them relevant to a whole new generation of people, because there's important stuff that we're doing. And when we can communicate that and make people fall back in love with cars, then we've won. And we think we can do that. We think we can do that by making a difference, making it believable, and then it will work across all of these different media touch points that we have today. So that is Chrysler.